Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Nick Slavik. I am the proprietor of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company. I'm also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. It's a weekly live Facebook show where I use my over 2 decades of experience as a painter, a craftsman, wallpaper hanger, decorator, lover of homes, restorationist, to answer any of your questions live here every Friday. Usually try to do it at noon. Work dictates a little bit what I do. Today we're going to be having the PDCA contractor question of the week. We get questions from contractors, we get questions from homeowners, and this is really a place where it's a forum, so we can all get our questions answered. If contractors, if you're wondering what's on the mind of homeowners, homeowners are here. Homeowners, anything you've ever wanted to ask a pro, we are here to do this. So I'm going to give you a job site walkthrough today. I've been getting a lot of questions about prepping kitchen cabinets. Obviously the sanding, the cleaning, all this other stuff, we will briefly go through that. I've had a couple very specific inquiries about plasticking off the interiors of cabinets so that you can spray them without getting overspray on the inside. And I have a very quick way to do that with standard tools that I have. You know, whether I'm outside or inside, I have these in my truck and do that. Save you a lot of time, because Lord knows if you have 65 different openings in a cabinet or something, or somewhere between 40 and 60, if you're spending 10 or 15 minutes per opening, that's a long time. So I can show you how to do it in probably a minute or two each opening. So why don't we go through a job site walkthrough real quick here. We'll get to the PDCA, the Painting and Decorating Contractors of America Contractor Question of the Week, and then I have a couple other questions that I gathered, and I have my little test cabinet here for you guys, and I will actually show you how to plastic those in. So why don't we take a walk around quick. This home is about 10 years old. Original builder's paint on it, very, very badly faded. LP Smart Side, stone construction. So basically we're coming in and we are prepping, we're cleaning, and we're painting 2 coats, same colors over the top. There's projects that are simple and projects that are easy. Some are both, most are not together. This project is a very simple project, basically just repaint the house, but easy it is not. You have to get your process down, you have to use your people efficiently, and there's a lot of wasted effort on projects like this, walking around the house, forgetting tools, not doing things right. So you can see we're methodically sort of working around this house. Today is a painter's dream. It is 69, 70 degrees, light breeze. I was gonna say nice and cloudy, but the sun just poked out here. It's just beautiful, overcast enough where we can work on the south side most of the day here without harming the paint, harming us. My goal is to always keep my people in the paint in the shade. Dries slower, you can keep your wet edge going, and it's better for us too. So, and better for the house. So we'll walk along the side here, and I promise to throw in a couple extra so's for everybody who's been commenting on that with my wonderful Minnesota accent. So you can see the crew is, some is having lunch, some is here painting. We're just kind of plugging away, keeping ourselves in the shade here, and slowly working our way around the house here. So yeah, these are wonderful projects, wonderful neighborhoods. I enjoy doing stuff like this. These are fun houses to work on. Okay, we'll sneak along the front of the house here. Okay. So I think once I get set up here, we'll do a quick PDCA contractor question of the week. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the PDCA for partnering with me for this. I've been getting a lot of great contractor questions through this stuff, and thanks to all the pinturas down in Brazil, tons of questions from you guys as well. It's been awesome interacting with you. I thought I'd pick one this week from a Brazilian painter, Chao Vernice. He owns Chao Vernice Pintura and Restauração, Sao Paulo, Brazil. So this is his question. Hello from Brazil. I'm having trouble with protecting the interior of my cabinets when I paint them. How do you do it? It takes me forever. Is there a better way? And here's my test cabinet. I will adjust this guy for you. Okay, now this is a cabinet. I put the word out on social media that I needed a cabinet. This is what I got. This is a vanity from a bathroom. The only difference between a cabinet like this and kitchen cabinets is that the kitchen cabinets will be probably another 18 inches deeper. So This will act as the same way. It's built with the same way, 3/4 inch oak on the outside, particle board on the inside. Now obviously if we were painting the insides, this is completely unnecessary. This is all pre-finished stuff in here, so we're acting as if this is either white melamine or a pre-finished wood product. And we're going to go through and quickly prep all these things. So obviously I've taken off the hardware, I've taken off the doors, labeled it all. If this were a real somebody's kitchen, set those aside. The first thing I like to do is to, a lot of people, I love the 3M hand maskers. Plastic is a little more expensive than standard painter's plastic, but in a painting project, our time is what's very expensive and not the materials. So you're going to pay a little extra for the plastic, a little extra for the things, but over the course of one job or 10 years, you're going to be saving a ton of extra time for your homeowners and for yourself using tools like this. So a lot of times people will go right with the plastic in here. One thing that I've sort of learned over the years is to give you a little working space, I like to do one border of 1.5 inch blue tape first. And 2 inch will work fine, 3/4 inch, I like to go a little thicker than that. I try to streamline all my processes, and the only blue tape I carry around is 1.5 inch. Whether we're doing exteriors, taping off windows, whether we're doing interiors, 1.5 inch is sort of the utility roll. It'll sort of cover everything you want to. So first we put a ring of blue tape around, and then we put in our plastic. And one thing that I like to do too, especially when I show my young apprentices how to do this, don't start with the edge of the tape in the corner. Overlap a little bit like this, because the corners are where you get all the overspray in this. So you simply take your thumbs, press it up against the back side of the cabinet, painter's tool, make sure you can get it in the corner. And then I like to give it one little press down, not flat, but you angle it a little so this edge of it touches the edge of the tape. I use the painter's tool to sort of guide into the edge. My fingers are too round at the end to get into the corners. We draw a perfectly straight line with our blue tape here. I always like to paint this inner lip of the 3/4. Makes it look a little more finished for the homeowners. And again, you always want a tiny little overlap into the corner so that when you carry your tape around, the next piece of tape overlaps and you know you have protection here. Okay, so now we have our border of tape. This helps step the plastic back a little bit from the front of the cabinet, because when you spray, in some cases you're spraying thousands of PSI into this, and if your plastic is too close, it can chatter, or it can stick to the back of the cabinet, or stick to the side if you haven't made it taut enough. So I like to step it back 1.5 inches and then do the plastic. Normally, we're outside, so I usually carry 9-foot and 6-foot plastic for exterior projects like this. 3M does make the 4-foot too, which I carry for the interior. 4-foot is what I usually use on this stuff. We're outside today, so I have my 6-foot here. When you cut your size of plastic, when you're doing a window on the outside of one of these houses, you want to actually step it in a little bit. I do about 1/2 inch on either side so that you have room for your tape here. It's not all bunching up and you can get it tight. When we do the cabinets here, you actually want extra. Now, just like I said with going around the corner, I usually end up going at least as wide as the rails on the cabinet like this, because when you apply your plastic to the top and pull it down, you want those corners to curl around the edge there like that. So give it a little bit extra, not an exact science, as long as you got a couple extra inches, should be fine. And you center your plastic on there. I put my thumbs about right where the corners are in there, so that when you flip it over like this, your thumbs are exactly where they need to be in the corners. You apply your plastic, again, you push it in the corner. And then, because you don't know what's on the inside of these cabinets, a lot of times the tape doesn't stick perfectly. It'll stick for the purposes we need, But if you yank down on this plastic, a lot of time you'll undo what you just did. So you just brace the paper there. And I always like to have a single layer of paper, plastic. If you leave a flap like this is just a place to catch dust. You can put a piece of tape there, but it's always much better to have one single piece coming down here. And now, instead of cutting this stuff, on the exterior of houses, I have my crews cut all the plastic so it's just a beautiful, tight, single sheet of plastic. When you come down here, again, thumbs in the corners, right where it would be, and you flip it up into the cabinet. Normally, on interiors of houses, you don't have this nice breeze coming through. Okay, so you have your plastic into the corners. You tack each corner down like this, nice and tight. And I'm pulling this plastic tight as I go along here. Tell you why in just a second. And I put the piece of, when you have the corner of the cabinet like this, I put my piece of tape starting here and then curling it around, like this. And again, corners are where the overspray is going to be, and that's where you want to get the tape done. Now, if you've done this right and it's nice and tight, all you have to do is do strip of tape, strip of tape, strip of tape. And if you pulled it tight, the plastic is in a beautiful straight line, just like this here. And again, I always put a little bit extra, curl it around the bottom. And the corners don't have to be a work of art, they just have to stop the overspray. So if you've done it right, you've got your overlap on your border, you've got your overlap on the piece you tacked, and you have the overlap on the piece here. So it's sort of belt suspenders and suspenders again. There we go, and nice and tight. And I have never had one of these come off in a cabinet, no matter how much pressure I spray, thousands and thousands of PSI shooting into these things. And I think that little bit of step back helps because if we spray it right, I use a 3M switch tip with mine, so I spray a very, very small pattern. And I'm stepping back and I'm just hitting that pencil pattern right along the edges here like this. I'm not blasting straight into plastic like that. Now obviously, before we do a lot of the heavy prepping, the mechanical prepping of the cabinets, I like to seal off the homeowner's interiors just so we can keep the dust and all the cleaning solution off of here. After all the cabinets are done, the floor is completely rosin paper. We have the countertops completely encased in rosin paper or plastic or both. Then we go for mechanical sanding. Random orbital sanders usually hooked up to shop vacs with 2 or 3 drywall filters on them to kind of keep the dust away. And we basically just abrade them. I have found that completely stripping cabinets is very labor intensive and doesn't necessarily yield a much better result than giving everything some tooth. So we go after it. We take off what we can. I mean, if the stuff is coming off easy, we'll take it off. But if it's a very good varnish job from the 70s or the 80s, you're not going to be able to mechanically sand it all. And if you do mechanically sand it all, you're going to alter the nice sharp lines of all this stuff. And that's what I'm always careful for. So, all right, we sand with the shop vacs like this. Usually with the shop vacs, there's barely any dust. But what I normally do then is have the shop vacs detached from the random orbital sanders. Go over everything again with the brush attachments. And at that point, this is the most critical part in prepping these cabinets here. Microfiber towels, hand towels. We have clean buckets of water. We completely soak them till they're just dripping. You can't hold any more water. And you bring them out then as much water as you can get out. You should never leave a water residue on these cabinets. The dust builds up in the water droplets and it actually leaves, some residue on there. So it almost doesn't even feel damp. And you basically just start, unfold it like this and tack rag it like that. If you use too much water, you're going to leave a watery residue here. It's going to catch more dust as you're doing that. Not great for the finish. If you're at all worried about something sticking, if you're worried about that water residue that you've left on there, which you should not have, we take a second round of microfiber towels, this time dipped in denatured alcohol. And this, you don't want it dripping wet with denatured alcohol, but it doesn't really matter how much you put on, because when you go over a second time to get any residue off, it flashes off and dries very quickly. So at that point, adhesion test. If you're at all worried about adhesion, what I normally do is underneath the cabinet, there, or on a side, or on a toe kick or something, test out your primer, leave it overnight, and do a scratch test or a crosshatch test. A crosshatch test being, your primer patch is here, you crosshatch it one way, and then the other way with a utility knife. You put some blue tape over it, burnish it with your hand, and then peel it back up. If something comes off, it did not adhere well, most of the time when you scratch it and you really forcibly can't remove it, you have a good match. Now, I've been doing this long enough with my system where if oil primer, the stuff I use, does not stick to it, something has gone horribly wrong, and it's not wood, it's not melamine, it's something else. There's grease on it, there's something else. So oil primer is the bomb-proof sort of thing here. I'm sorry about the wiggling of the camera, the breeze is picking up here. So, okay, if you guys have any other questions about that, you can let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go over a couple more questions here. If you guys have any questions here, you can type them down below. I'll get to a lot of those at the end of the broadcast here. I'm going to go through a couple more that were sent in, and then we'll address any questions you guys have. So, Ivy Tidings from Kansas City, Missouri. I have a good amount of trim in my 1938 Cape Cod. The trim is yellowed over time, and I'd like to repaint it white. I'm assuming it was painted with enamel. I'm assuming she's referring to oil. It's not peeling or chipped. What products do you recommend without a ton of sanding? Well, if you're going to be repainting it, the best thing to do is use oil again. Yes, it yellowed, but there's a lot of oils. Probably, if your trim has been enameled for a long time, there's a good chance that it might be a linseed oil-based oil enamel. And in that case, it yellows a little more aggressively. Nowadays, we use a man-made oil called Elkid, and it's usually a vegetable-based oil that we mechanically modify to have different properties: dry faster, dry slower, different resins in it to give you different properties. And the new Elkids will yellow a lot less. Now, my kind of go-to trim enamels are sort of the hybrids nowadays, because I feel that I love the traditional stuff. I'll use oil when I can, but a lot of times when I'm enameling cabinets in somebody's house, the oil primer is a tough phase for the family and everything to live through. Even with me, safetying off their house, filling the vents with filters, it still smells, and you have to be conscious of the family of that. So I try to use some of the hybrids. The hybrids, the oil-water mixtures, Sherwin-Williams has a couple. They have a Pro Classic hybrid. They have the new Emerald urethane, water-based urethane enamel. Benjamin Moore has a really, really good one, Advance. I prefer the satin. And that stuff, it smells a lot less. It's water-based. The oil molecules are emulsified in water. The water is the vehicle that gets the oil molecule to the cabinet. When the water dissipates, you're left with a oil finish, or as close to one of those traditional oil finishes that you can possibly get. So, those are sort of my favorite. If you're going to repaint all the trim in your house, obviously oil is going to stick. You don't really have to scuff sand a lot or sand a lot. I would just give it a little scuff, give it some tooth. If you're going to try out one of the hybrids, you have to be careful. I have found that they don't always adhere. Yes, you're theoretically left with an oil finish, but you have to do a test patch. Go back in a closet, backside of a door, scuff sand the area, tack rag it off, put on a little bit of that hybrid enamel, and see if it sticks. If it sticks, that's a really good way to go. You're not going to get as much yellowness with the true oil. If it doesn't stick, either you can oil prime it and go with the hybrid, or you can go straight with the oil enamel again. So, Ivy, let me know how that turns out. Phil Kirkup from Fleet, Hampshire, England. Phil is the owner of Phil Kirkup Paint and Decorating. Hi, Nick. First of all, thanks so much for your videos. Always valuable content. I have a question that you might have covered before. Maybe it's a house secret you keep for your team, but it's this: how do you keep dust to a minimum? I have a dust extractor and a sander. I can't use it everywhere. I vacuum frequently. I tack rag off, and at times dust or some specks of stuff get in my paint. I just want to know what kind of precautions you do to your area. And Phil also made a note that he does a lot of stuff by hand. Many thanks, Phil from the UK. Well, Phil, thanks for the question. And again, I love following, especially all the UK and Ireland painters over there. It's been awesome. The Brazilian painters, everybody does stuff a little differently, and it's always really cool to see what people are doing. Dust is a problem that I solve from the second we walk in somebody's house. Take, a kitchen cabinet, for example. We basically use zip walls and other methods to cordon off the kitchen right away. We completely cover the floor with rosin paper or protective stuff. We encapsulate the tops of the counters. We plastic off the inside of the cabinets, and then we start our process. Anytime somebody's doing something that creates some sort of dust, we vacuum after it. And I can take one of my young guys who's been working for me for a week or two, give him a shop vac, and in 32 minutes he can shop vac an entire kitchen, really quickly with a brush attachment. So even if you're sort of worried about, no, there might be something, there might not, that's cheap insurance. And also, when I use my shop vacs, we have the yellow drywall bags inside of them. We have the paper cartridge air filter, and then the foam surround, the sleeve that goes around that. So again, 3 ways of sort of stopping dust like that. And then every time we use a random orbital sander or the like, we attach a shop vac right to there. You're still going to make some dust. But basically, the tack ragging process really gets rid of that stuff. And we rosin paper the floor, we tape all the seams so it's a sealed surface. And because it's brand new and fresh and virgin, you can tell if there's anything on your floor. And we usually go top to bottom in a kitchen or a house when we're doing all the enamel. We start dusting and shop vacuuming the tops of windows, tops of doors, come down off the trim, do all the walls, and eventually you get to the floor. Try not to sweep at this stage. Shop vac attachment with a long handle will sort of get around all that, and you sort of just back yourself out. I have a particular shoes that I wear spraying as well, some old pair of sneakers that are clean, and I change those at the door when I walk in, so we're not tracking in mud or rain or gravel or anything like that. And I just kind of address it at each phase. Instead of saying, okay, here's one magic machine, one dust extractor, one air scrubber, one something that, well, doesn't matter what you do, this does it. Every little bit I do, I'm always cleaning. And especially when you have a young apprentice with you, you basically just give them a shop vac and you just say, listen, you just keep making the rounds, man. Top to bottom, left to right, second floor, main floor, basement, just keep on going, and you just run that shop vac till it glows red. So that's about the best advice I can give you. Again, a lot of people are hoping I'll have a sort of magic solution for a lot of this stuff. Really, it's just being conscious of everything you do from the second you walk into somebody's house. Every step. When you bring in tools, make sure your totes are all clean. When people are bringing in their lunches and stuff, don't even let them enter the work area. Just simple stuff like that. And normally, when I spray cabinets, I'm the only one in there. I'll have my crew do all the prep work. We'll get going. I'll send them off to another job site. I'll have them eat some lunch, and then I'll hazmat up, get all clean, different shoes on, step into the zip-walled area, zip it behind me, do my last check. You rub your finger on a few cabinets here, and then go for it. And especially if you have your sprayers dialed in, you're not going to be doing a whole bunch of overspray. One of the biggest ways to cut down on a rough finish in between coats is having your airless sprayers or air-assisted airless sprayers dialed in so that there's barely any overspray going on. So when I enclose myself in a kitchen and I spray even oil primer on these cabinets, by the time I'm done, there's no visible particles floating around in the air. There's no dust floating around. There's no little bits of fog from your sprayer. It's basically the most efficient way to do it. You get the right tip, the right pressure, the right machine, and you lay it on, and there's basically nothing that blows around. So, Phil, thank you for your question. I'm going to roll through here and see what we got for questions today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it. Chris Shank, thank you for watching. Sarah Perryman, frequent watcher. Marcella Gomez, thank you. James Gilbert, the winner of the Ask a Painter gift package. Hats and shirts are coming Monday, and then I will send those off to you. So I'll look forward to see you putting those to work. Andy Chadwick, good fishing buddy of mine. Derek, thank you for your interaction this week. Thanks for watching. Don Taylor, you as well. Matt Ambule, my old sergeant from the Army, checking in. Yeah, you're probably the reason, Matt, that I have a beard now. I disliked shaving every day so much that I did this. So Jim Callahan, past apprentice of mine, and we just painted your house. So thanks, Jim, for all the business. Let's see. Zachy, thanks for watching. Tom Musil, thanks for watching as well. Tim Liuski, I appreciate it. Derek, About to tackle a bare exterior brick project and would love to hear your process recommendations in addition to cover stain as a primer and a Loxon top coat. 10 years ago, I had a stucco project, and I asked, at that time, I just asked my Sherwin-Williams rep. I said, hey, what's the best you have for masonry, for block walls, for stucco, for brick, and this and that? They said Loxon XP, and I haven't found a nicer finish yet. Benjamin Moore does have their line of masonry stuff. All the big companies do. They're very good, but honestly, it's kind of funny that Loxon XP, and when I do stucco, when I do brick, things like that, it is probably one of my longest lasting, best looking finishes. And for whatever reason, it should be fraught with disaster, but I did the Chamber of Commerce in New Prague probably 8 or 10 years ago with a 2-coat process roller and brush by myself, and it still looks as good as the day I put it on. So honestly, Derek, if there's any specific issues with the brick, if they're glazed, if they have a shiny surface, you have to address that stuff too. But if it's just rough brick, if it's something that's got some tooth to it, I would honestly spray and backroll into all that, into all the crevices and stuff like that. And the reason I use Loxon XP because it's a 2-coat system with using the same stuff. Now Loxon has a whole bunch of different products in their line. They have conditioners, fillers, all this and that. I would call your Sherwin-Williams rep and ask them to write you up a spec specifically. But every time I can, I always try to do one product, 2 coats. It's very tempting to say, well, we'll use a filler or a conditioner or something else, some cheaper Loxon primer first and then 1 top coat, but I always like to do 2 top coats. I mean, we're all good at what we do, supposedly, but nobody's perfect, and I don't believe that there's somebody who can, for the life of their term as a tradesman, they're going to do 1 coat to perfection every job they do. I think the 2 coats, not only fills in everything, it also evens out the shine on a lot of projects too, especially when you're talking about LP siding and hardy board. The first coat soaks in so quickly that the second coat will actually build that film and stuff like that. So Derek, let me know what you end up doing, and definitely send some pictures too. I do appreciate that. Clayton, thank you for watching. Juliano Alcantara, my good friend from Brazil, thank you for watching, and thanks for all you do down there. You're doing the Lord's work for us down there. So Tom Shepard, thank you for watching. Dwayne Battles, Marcelo Calixto, thank you for watching. Shaka Zulu, old Army friend of mine, thank you, sir, for watching. Carmen Sarah, Maya, hey, how are you? David Carnival, thank you for watching, and thank you for everybody for sharing this stuff. I've been doing this for over a year now, and I'm always amazed at the friend requests I get and the messages that come in. People from all over the world, painters from the Middle East, painters from Europe, especially from the South American countries and stuff too, corresponding with some people from Australia and British Columbia. It's amazing the reach of this stuff nowadays, and I just love to see it, especially when you guys show pictures of the job sites, how you're using sprayers, brushes, ladders, things like that. You can always learn stuff, because I grew up in an insular world in the painting community, and only in the last 2 years or so did I ever even correspond with another painter, and it sort of really opened up my eyes. Surprise, surprise. So Paul Schmidt, thank you for watching. Christine, thank you for watching as well. You guys are doing some great work there at the PDCA. I love to see your guys' live feeds. James Sturdy, old Army friend of mine, thank you for watching. Rita Ambrose, past customer of mine, wonderful to work for. Tim Marcellet, past apprentice of mine, paratrooper, military policeman, and one of the best realtors in my hometown here. Lots of downtime, I see. Has plenty of time to watch all my videos. So, Cyril, thank you for watching. Olivia is an awesome photographer. A lot of the black and whites that you guys see pictures of me and myself, she's actually done in the past for me. And every year or two we get together and do another series of them, because I don't want to be that guy who has the 18-year-old picture and now I'm 34. So Olivia, thank you for what you do for me and my company. Joe Wondra, a good friend of mine, thank you for watching. Gustavo, always good to see you on there. Tim and Amy Lemke, thank you for watching again. Anthony Cade, like watching you on social media too. You're doing good work. Yeah, it's a windy day here. Sorry, I got my tripod set up the best I can. I'm trying to work through it here. Kellyanne, thank you. Richard Heilman, thank you so much. I didn't get your question, Richard, for this week. I know you specifically sent me one. So send it somehow. Hashtag it Ask a Painter, or message me through Facebook. Christopher Stafford, like watching your stuff on social media too. That's fun. Efren Medina, Good to see you at the last expo. Thanks for watching. Ray Goody. We were overseas together in Afghanistan. Good to see you too, Ray. Adelton, thanks for watching. James Gilbert, good stuff. Thank you, sir. Jamie Reed, thanks for watching. Mr. Benz, salam. Good to see you too from the Middle East. Ryan Hauser, a couple blocks from me back in New Prague. Thanks for watching. Danny Airy. Danny, I saw that you had posted recently about some cabinet stuff. You're getting some micro bubbles and that. I'd be curious to see if you ever solved that. Paulo, thank you so much. Yeah, I love you guys in Brazil, man. You guys are getting it after down there. I just love watching you. Aaron Halloran, Douglas, Brazilian painter. Thanks for watching. Rick Peterson, thanks for watching. Ryan Kohler, Juliano Alcantara. Hi from Brazil. Yeah, no problem. You guys are awesome down there. Matthew Esparza, tips for spraying top of the inside cabinet. So I assume you're talking about this stuff in here. What I do is actually, with the airless stuff, we have very, very sleek line guns and no extensions, obviously. You can have I use my Titan switch tip there, and basically I hold my gun in my hand in the middle of the cabinet here, and I sort of fan it like this. Instead of trying to get it like this, I basically just make sure you get a little in the corner, and I fan it over like that, and just quick. What I tell my apprentices too is that you're not going to solve all the cabinet's issues in one coat. Better to do 3 light coats than 1 or 2 heavy coats where you have runs. Another thing I always mention to my apprentices is that every time you have a run, it's 15 minutes to fix it perfectly. So it's way easier to go, like this 3 times than it is to stand there for 15 minutes sanding and shaving off a run like that. So I hope that helps for you. Mark Johnson, got t-shirts in my size. Yeah, they're actually coming Monday. So Mark, let me know. Mark has my dream job, historic restoration consultant, and if anybody wants to make going to sleep easier tonight, Mark and I did an over 2-hour Ask a Painter. I didn't even know my camera had that much battery in it, about historic restoration from his end. We looked at some old historic painting tools, and then from my end about the actual of restoring these homes. So that's a wonderful one of my favorite Ask a Painters I've ever done. Liam Chesters, thank you for watching. Mark Johnson, I need a lot of X's. Interesting show as usual. Thank you so much. David Bastier, thank you for watching. Jacob Riesgraff, Justin Orr, thank you guys for watching. Liam Chesters, is it a good practice to back roll after spraying fences? I seem to have caught something this week on one of the chat rooms or one of the groups where somebody made a very bold statement about not back brushing or back rolling, and all I can say is that in the interest of being an ambassador here, read the technical data sheets. The technical data sheets tell you exactly how to apply this stuff, and there is not a product, maybe besides industrial products, that I use that doesn't prescribe back brushing or back rolling. Now, yes, that's the rules. There's always ways that we either do more or do less than the technical data sheets and still have good results, but there, in my mind, in the many years I've been doing this, there's 2 forms of adhesion with paint. There's the chemical adhesion. It's what does the paint do when it touches the wall, when it dries? Does it adhere? Is there anything in that paint that helps out? And then there's mechanical adhesion. Mechanical adhesion is after the paint gets on the wall, then what happens? Do you fill the pores? Do you not fill the pores? I have just seen so many, in my neck of the woods we have a lot of cedar houses that were either stained with a solid acrylic stain, solid oil stain, or painted. And I've seen houses that have only been sprayed, and the pores aren't even close to being filled. I just don't understand how anybody can make the argument that maybe in the case of painting, when you have rough cedar that's been either sanded or primed or something, when you spray it on there, it's just you're leaving all the depths and the nooks and the crannies open like that. And for me, there's no way I would do it, but if people get by with it and do that, it sort of is what it is. But technical data sheets, it's amazing. Everything that we need to know as painters is given to us for free by these paint companies. All we have to do is make 3 clicks on their website, and this magical information just comes to us. So I would just say, morally, ethically, whatever it is, whether you think it, whether I think it, there are technical data sheets out there for us. So I would just say, it's there. It's a lot easier. There's not a lot of interpretation. So Gustavo Oh, hey Nick, I was the winner of the PDCA t-shirt and painter's overalls. That's awesome, man. I'm so glad. There's going to be one other dude out there wearing white overalls out there, so I can't wait to see it. So that's awesome. Mr. Nabil, thank you, sir. Stephen Curry, good stuff. Nice to see, to hear a real painter. Painting for 40. Oh, thanks a lot, man. And let us know where you're from. Let us know what you do. And certainly, this is a forum. What I say isn't infallible. You know, this is a forum for other painters to come on and improve this process. So if we can bring some dignity and some life and some gravitas to this trade, you know, let's take care of our homeowners and let's take care of our suppliers and do a good job. So, Steve, thank you so much. Scott Stasny, thanks for watching. Dos Santos, hi Nick, thank you. Adam Fox, Ingrid Renicky, hi from Brazil. Oh, great, awesome. Another Brazilian. Pintura, Matthew Bearbach, Matthew Esparza, helped a lot. I think my problem is moving my hand along and trying to cover in 1 to 2 coats. The fan motion sounds way better in 2 to 3 light coats. I will tell you this. Guys love to dial up that airless sprayer, get a 517 tip on there, and go to town thinking more is better. I have dialed my tips down to the point where, you know, I think I use, you know, somewhere in the 200s, a 210, a 310 switch tip. If you use those Titan switch tips, it's something I haven't gotten away from because they're so useful. The tips where it has the wide fan and then it's got the narrow fan. And if you get it in like a 310 or a 210, that narrow fan is basically at 12 inches. It's like an inch or two, and it's perfect for, you know, these 3/4 inch edges on all these cabinets. Like you can aim it like a gun and just like that and hit it perfectly. And the benefit of that, you're barely putting, you know, there's really paint that doesn't go anywhere else. And the benefit of that is that if it's a little light up in the corner, you just hit it again like that, fan, and it helps out. So, Matthew, I hope that helps out. Sarah Riga, my old neighbor, thank you for watching, and Ella Etlin. Well, thanks everybody. This is an awesome show. I appreciate it. I am going to be doing more demonstrations for you guys. Anything you want to see me do, I will do. Just give me a suggestion. This last week, I got a couple requests for this. Everybody's awesome on social media. I just put out that I need a test cabinet, something that I can cart around with me and show some people some stuff. And that same day, somebody dropped it off at my house, and of course, I dug out a mug for them. So thank you guys so much. I love doing this stuff here. I need suggestions. If you want to see me do something, here it is. So hashtag Nick Paint Stuff, and I'll send that off to you, and we'll do some demonstrations. So everybody have a good weekend. I'm going to get back to work with my crew here. We're going to finish strong. We're going to get after it this afternoon and use all our good time today. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.